Today, we're tackling a tough but important question. Do bad things happen because of sin or a lack of faith? There's a common belief, especially in some church circles, that if you're struggling, if life is falling apart, if you're sick, broke, or suffering, it's your fault. Maybe you sinned, maybe you don't have enough faith. But is that really how God works? Let's break this down with the Bible. Some Christians point to scriptures like Galatians 6:7, a man reaps what he sows. Deuteronomy 28:15, if you do not obey, all these curses will come upon you. James 1:6-7, you must believe and not doubt. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. At first glance, it sounds like suffering is punishment for sin or a lack of faith. But hold on, Jesus directly challenges this idea. In John 9, Jesus' disciples see a blind man and ask, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? They assume suffering happens because of sin. But Jesus corrects them, saying, neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. Right there, Jesus shuts down the idea that suffering is always caused by personal sin. And let's not forget Job, a man the Bible calls blameless and upright. Yet he lost everything, his family, his health, his wealth. And what did his so-called friends say? Job 4:7-8, who, being innocent, has ever perished? They assumed Job must have sinned to deserve this. But in the end, God rebuked them and said they were wrong. Some say, well, maybe it's not sin, maybe it's a lack of faith. They point to verses like Matthew 13:58, he did not do many miracles there because of their lack of faith. James 1, verse 6-7, that person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. But does this mean if your prayers go unanswered, you're just not believing hard enough? Look at Paul. He prayed 3 times for his thorn in the flesh to be removed, and God said no. Did Paul lack faith? Of course not. Faith is about trusting God even when things don't go the way we want. It's not a magic formula for avoiding suffering. So if bad things aren't just punishment for sin or lack of faith, then why do they happen? 1. We live in a broken world. Jesus himself said in John 16:33, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. 2. People have free will. If someone drinks and drives, crashes, and hurts someone else, that's not God punishing them. It's the consequence of their choice. 3. God can use suffering for good. In Genesis 50:20, Joseph tells his brothers, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. If you've been told that your suffering is because you don't have enough faith or God is punishing you, I want you to hear this. Your pain is not proof that God is mad at you. Your struggles don't mean you're a bad Christian. Jesus suffered, not because he sinned, but because suffering is part of life. Instead of blaming ourselves or others for suffering, Jesus calls us to show compassion, help the hurting, and trust God even in the hard times. If this message encouraged you, like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What's a time you went through something hard and saw God working in it later? See you next time.